You know, life throws you curveballs. For me, it was a chronic medical condition that changed everything, especially my intimate life. I've been on some pretty heavy medication for a while now, and honestly, it does a lot of things. It destroys my sex drive, for one, and it knocks me out cold, like, dead to the world. We're talking fire alarm next to my ear, I wouldn't stir. My husband, Ethan, and we got married before all this. He was wonderful through the diagnosis and treatment, really supportive. But our intimate life, that was a huge strain. We used to be very active, and now I never feel in the mood. I hate it. I feel like a terrible wife, and I miss that part of us. Lately, though, I started feeling even worse than usual. Really sick, dizzy, just generally uncomfortable. I actually went to see Dr. Evelyn, scared I might have caught something serious, you know? But it turns out I'm pregnant. 5 weeks along. And the thing is, I hadn't been intimate with Ethan in at least 2 months, maybe even more. I hadn't cheated. I hadn't been assaulted by anyone else that I knew of. This was definitely not some miracle. I told Ethan, and he was surprised, of course. I mean, with my medication and my condition, getting pregnant is like a 1,000,000 to 1 chance. He was shocked, then quickly excited. And I was just so relieved he didn't accuse me of cheating that I didn't stop to think why he wasn't suspicious. But then, over the next few days, it started gnawing at me. I began thinking back to when I first started the medication. Ethan had a hard time adjusting to my low libido. He'd joke sometimes, you know, things like, "Oh, you can just lay there and watch TV while we do it." Or, and this is where the fear started to creep in, he'd say things like, "I could just be intimate with you while you're asleep, that way you don't have to deal with it, and I can be satisfied." He'd mentioned it a couple of times, always dropping it when I made it clear I wasn't okay with it. Then I started remembering all those mornings I'd wake up with this uncomfortable pelvic pressure, the kind I usually only felt after we'd been intimate. Ethan always liked things a bit rough, and I never minded before. We were always adventurous. And those unexplained bruises I'd find. I started to put it all together. I confronted him. I told him how scared I was, how the dates didn't match up, and why he wasn't surprised. He got angry, furious that I would accuse him of something so terrible. He insisted I was just misremembering the last time we were together. My medication does play with my memory sometimes, but I remember every time we're intimate now, because it's not something I enjoy. I didn't want to panic, didn't want to talk myself into believing this, but I also couldn't talk myself out of it just to protect our marriage. I was terrified. This was the only explanation that made any sense. If it was true, I had no idea what I would do. I'd grieved the idea of not being able to have children for so long, and now I had this baby, and I was so incredibly happy. But what if this baby happened because of what Ethan did? I was in such a state. I went to Dr. Evelyn again, desperate for answers. I asked her if my medication could make me engage in any sexual acts while asleep, or if it could make me misremember things, if I was going crazy. The answer to all of it was no. She said the medication doesn't make any of that a possibility, and it wouldn't mess up my memory to that extent. It's not a sedative. I even double-checked the dating of the pregnancy, hoping for some buffer time, some way to make the numbers align with when I thought we were intimate. Things at home were awful. I accused him, and it tore us apart. I spent almost 2 weeks just locking myself in the bedroom, humiliated and embarrassed. We barely spoke, unless it was about the baby. I think deep down, I knew our relationship was over. Then, 2 nights ago, after we'd just finished watching a movie, it was the closest I'd felt to him in weeks, he turned to me. He asked if I really thought he could have assaulted me. I started crying, and he started yelling, demanding an answer. Before I could even speak, he started laughing. He said he couldn't even get me wet enough to penetrate me if he tried. It was just a cruel jab about my health, about how my medication makes arousal so difficult for me. When we are intimate, we have to use so much lubricant to avoid tearing. I told him that wasn't funny. He just said he thought it was hilarious. We started fighting about my accusation again, about how it made him feel. I tried to tell him how sorry I was, how I was just scared he wasn't the person I thought he was. And he said I tried to ruin his life. Then he admitted it. He said he tried to use his fingers to penetrate me a couple of times while I was asleep, but he never got anywhere, so he gave up. He insisted that wasn't assault. I started screaming at him, demanding to know if he was telling the truth, hyperventilating. He screamed back. He swore he never sexually assaulted me. He insisted it couldn't be assault because we were married, and it was just his fingers, not his penis. He even admitted to giving me oral stimulation once while I was sleeping, trying to get me wet enough for penetration, but he stopped then too. And he said he'd used my hand to pleasure himself a couple of times while I slept, but only a couple of times. So, that's the truth of it. Our baby was conceived during the night I actually remember being intimate. But Ethan admitted to touching me while I was completely incapacitated. He honestly believes it's not sexual assault because we're married. He stands by that. And he thinks I'm crazy for thinking otherwise. Maybe I am crazy. He's my husband, and I hadn't really thought about non-consensual sexual acts within a marriage until I posted online. I don't know what to do now. I don't have any family nearby. I have some friends, but the world is a mess right now, and I can't impose on anyone. We're probably not even that close. Making friends has always been hard for me. And money? I live paycheck to paycheck normally, and I'm out of work now. I'm scared to go, but staying feels stupid. We haven't slept together since his confession. He's been in the living room. I'm in the bedroom. I think I slept an hour, just scared he'd come pick a fight again. It's been like this for 2 nights. This feels like the end of everything. I just don't know where I go from here. He doesn't think he did anything wrong, and he's so mad at me for saying otherwise. I guess I'm just really lost. What would you even do in my shoes?